Hey everyone, Greta here. Today we are going to talk about how to get into side crow from tripod headstand. Since this is the transition tutorial, I'll be only focusing on how to get from A to B. So I'm presuming that you would be quite fluent in both the tripod and the side crow if you are checking this video out. If not, spend a few more moments just to make sure that those two shapes are solid before attempting this transition. And if you're wondering how to get into those two shapes, you can check out my previous videos. They should be there. If you are interested in doing this transition, first off is your side crow must be deep. Deep meaning that the knee is not just resting on the elbow, but closer to the armpit. And the reason is because when we are going from a tripod into the side crow, the twist needs to be very deep, especially when doing the transition in mid-air. You don't have the ground, the gravity to help you to get you into the twist, get you into the shape. So if you're doing this, just make sure that for side crow, the knee is closer to the armpit and not just resting on the elbow. And before you do this transition, you might want to warm up a little bit by doing more twists. So here are a few things that I generally do before I do this transition. All right, so we're now all warmed up. So let's do the real thing. I'll be doing it in a tuck tripod instead of going all the way up because I don't think I have space. I think the camera would cut it off. And honestly, it's not that important. It's just the transition that's more crucial. So here we go. So you're going to start from a tripod. Okay, go up here. And then from here, I'll be twisting to the right side a lot, like crazy. I want to imagine my knees are going all the way to the right armpit. At this time, the right elbow must hug in because when you turn to the right side, chances are your right elbow would also splay out. Never let that happen. Hug it in even further, and move your knees closer to the armpit. And then once you're there, knees rest down on the tricep, look forward, and lift up. And done. The most challenging part is the twist, right? So making sure that when you're twisting to the side, the right side, the knees, you want to move it all the way to the armpit. You want to aim it to the armpit. And that was what I was aiming for, even though when my knees actually land, they landed around here. And at the same time, you want to broaden the upper back, shoulders away from the ears, and then that side that you're twisting to, the arm hugs in. So this actually is helping the body to get into the side crow. Never let your elbow just rest as is because chances are the elbow would also move with the knees, so that will make the twist even more challenging because there's no way your knees could ever meet the tricep if the elbow keeps moving with the knees. Okay, so they need to move in an opposite direction, then that's how you can land. Once your knees actually land on the tricep, then you want to move the head forward, keeping the elbows hugging in, broadening out the upper back, hugging the belly in, and then just lift the head up. And now we'll go through how to from a side crow to go back up into a tripod. Now this requires even more effort because your hips are over to one side. You need to push more. Everything just needs to amp up. Now from here, head down, arms push, hips. For this, once you place the crown of the head down to the floor, you want to feel the entire body helping the hips to lift up just a little bit more. So they need to move at the same time. Once the head lands, hips want to go up just to create a bit more space for you to push. So to lift your knees up away from the arm and then eventually going back up into a tripod. My advice to you, for those of us who want to transition from side crow back to a tripod, is once you are in the side crow, don't be too comfortable, meaning you don't want to rest into the arms. You always want to keep everything a little bit more active. So when you're lifting back up, you have the power. If you are just kind of sitting in that side crawl, letting the hips kind of drop down, even for just a little bit, it's very, very difficult to lift back up. One more thing about the first transition from tripod to side crawl, when you're getting your knees closer to the armpits, chances are you feel the entire body shifting forward a lot. Okay, that's very natural because your entire body weight is leaning over to one side and more closer to the front. Just make sure that you trust yourself, you trust your shoulders, they're strong enough to hold you, they won't let you fall. Okay, and just make sure that the upper back is not collapsing, the elbows are not splaying out, making sure that the base is still firm so that the transition will become a little bit more smooth. That's it for my sharing for today. Hope it helps. Don't forget to have fun. Don't forget to breathe. See you again soon. Take it easy.